Today I'm putting up green beans from the garden, and this is one side of my double sink full that I picked half a bushel this morning. A half a bushel completely fills one side of the sink here, and I wash them a couple of times like this just to get any dirt or leaves or whatever might have stuck to them out of the garden. Then I string them, and as I string them and break them, I put them over on this side of the sink, and I keep me a little bowl here to the side to put my strings in. And once we get through breaking them, get them all over here, I'll wash them again a couple times, and then I'll show you how I can them. So I've got about an hour and a half's worth of work stringing all these, so I'll be back in a little bit when I get them strung. For those that don't know what it means to string a bean, here's what you do. There's the bean. These are fresh out of the garden. I picked them this morning. But you take and you snap the end, and you pull it and pull it and pull it, pull that string all the way down to the other end. Snap the other end, pull it, get that string all the way off, because there's what you don't want in your beans when you're eating them. I see I keep a little bowl. There's what I've strung off so far. Once you get those strings out, then you just snap a bean a couple times, and there's what'll go in the jar. I'll throw it over on the other side of the sink. But I realize there's a lot of people hadn't fixed fresh stuff from the garden, might not knew that, might not have known that. So there's the way you do it. Sometimes you might have to string them twice to get all that out of there, but it's worth it, because you don't want to be eating green beans and bite down on a bunch of strings. Those are awful. I got my window open, so you can probably hear the dry flies yelling outside. We got them all broke and strung, all the strings off of them. Now I'm going to wash them again a couple of times. Make sure no dirt or anything's on. How many strings come out of half a bushel? Had to get another container to hold all of them. Seen a leaf floating around, but now I can't find it. wash it one more time, see if I can find it. After I get through washing them, I put them in a big stock pot and cook them just long enough to turn color before I put them in the jars to pressure can them. Those look pretty clean. It's been 4 washings. 2 before I started breaking them and 2 after. This is about I think it's an 8-quart stock pot. Boy, it's going to hold all of them. That's about as full as you want to get it. Inch or so from the top, because if you get it much fuller than that, when it starts boiling, it'll boil over. I can cook what's left there in a small pot. You just want to do that before you put them in the jars. That way the jars will hold more and the water won't boil out as much when you start pressure canning them. So I'll get those on, get them to cooking. I'll get a small pot and put the rest of these in it. Okay, got them on the stove. Got it on high. And once it starts boiling, I'll let them boil about 10 minutes. And then we'll start putting them in the jars, and then from there go to the pressure canner. Okay, this front pot's been boiling a pretty good while now. And it's about ready to cut off. All you want is that bright green color to disappear and get kind of this color. And you can cut it off. We'll cut that one off. The back one's taking longer. And it helps if you've got a Jack Russell to help you out. And put a golf ball at your foot. Cup your gravy. You like green beans? You like green beans? Okay, the back pot's been cooking long enough. They've changed color. So I'll cut it off and we'll start filling a jar up here, and I'll show you how to do it. Just stove cut off. I got my jars straight out of the dishwasher. Got my lids. I use one of these funnels. And I use Morton's Cannon and Pickling salt. We'll have 1 teaspoon in every jar, and that preserves it. You find a good place to set it. Put it right there. What you want to get, I always put it in first. That way, if I get the jar full and can't remember if I put salt in it, all I've got to do is hold it up and look on the bottom. I'll see my salt. I just take a measuring cup, start dipping the beans out. Put them over the jar. They might drop out, but you can just pick them up. Hard doing hold the camera. When I get it about half full, take a wooden spoon, which I've got laying over here. Get it. Take the handle, just a regular wooden spoon. I take the handle. Well, you can take the other end. Just kind of mash the beans down, get them where they settle good. That way you can get the can good and full. probably about all it's going to hold, if it holds that much. Yeah, that's just right. I usually try to get the liquid up to the bottom of that funnel. Take the funnel out with my phone. Okay, I got through with my phone call. We got that jar full. When I take the funnel out, I always take a wet paper towel. I keep one handy and just wipe the top off here, make sure no salt or anything that weighs on the rim. And I'll take my lid, put it on there. Take my ring, put it on there, and I can't do it and hold the camera too, but I tighten it down real good, and you got to get a towel to hold the jar because it's got boiling water in it. Let's see if I can do this. This ain't working so good. There we go. Tighten it real good. Good and tight. And I've got my pressure canner already heating up over here. Don't do what I did. Don't touch down here. That's hot. This ain't had time to get hot yet up top. Start putting them in a pressure canner. So I'll fill 6 more up and I'll be back when I put the camera back on when I get it full. Got all 7 jars, all 7 quarts filled, and then the pressure canner. You can see the water's boiling. It was boiling when I started putting them in there. And you don't want it up anywhere close to the rings on a pressure canner. It ain't like the other type of canning. But if you don't know how to use a pressure canner, don't go by my instructions. Get somebody to teach you, because they can be very dangerous. And this video ain't going to be long enough to go over all that. But I'll put my lid on. Tighten all these things down. This canner, I've got an older canner that the lid goes on a lot different. It's got a rubber gasket, but I bought this one a while back. It's a metal to metal design, don't have a gasket. It's got a gauge on it. It's just a lot better design than that old one. Okay, here's the weight, the jiggler, some people call it. It's got numbers on it. I don't know if it's going to focus in on it or not. Let's see if it will. It's engraved, you might not be able to see it, but right where that little black dot is, there's a 10. That means it's 10 pounds of weight right here where this little hole where the steam's escaping now. You can see it bubbling there. Put that on there. And it's just like putting a 10-pound weight right on top of that. And over here on this gauge, we'll be able to see it build up pressure, which it's on 0 right now, but it'll take a while. Once it gets up to 10, then that'll start jiggling, make a noise. Why this won't focus. Well, I had this many left over. So that filled 7 quarts. It probably wouldn't have filled, it might have filled another quart, but I don't want to run the pressure canner just for 1 quart, so that'll be separate. I'll fix some cornbread, maybe put a little piece of ham in there. That'll be separate. Okay, the pressure gauge is built up to 10. Even though this probably ain't gonna focus in, you can see it. And in just this little bit, you'll hear the jiggler really start making a noise, which it's supposed to do. That's good. See a little steam escaping now. Any pressure here above 10, this jiggler will let it escape for the most part. Once it starts doing that, cook it for 30 minutes. And then I cut it off. And you gotta wait till that goes all the way down to 0 before you even attempt to take the weight off or the lid off. Never take that off until this is on 0. There's the noise we want right there. It'll do that for 30 minutes now. And we're back. I'll let it cook for 30 minutes at 10 pounds pressure. And I cut the stove off and I'll let it sit for 30 minutes. After that, till the gauge got all the way down to 0. So now I can take the little jiggler weight off. I still hear a little steam come out, but not much. And unloosen my lid. Ouch. There they are. You can see the water's still boiling in the jars, so I usually let them sit there and cool a while before I try to get them out of the canner. I use these things to get them out of there with. We can take one out and set it over here to the side. Be real careful with it. Set it right there. Now when they cool, you'll hear the lids pop. And that's because it's drawing a vacuum. Because the temperature changes. As the jar cools down, it draws a vacuum and sucks the top of the lid in. So that's what you look for when you're done. If it don't pop that lid in, it won't keep. You'll have to either redo it or use it right away. But if it does pop the lid in, it'll be good for years. I've ate beans out of jars 6 years old, maybe 7 years old. So they got a long shelf life when they're canned like this. And pressurizing it in this pot it gets way above boiling temperature because of the steam. So it kills any kind of bacteria, anything be in the jar, so you don't have to worry about that. As long as that lid stays sealed and the ring stays on, you're good to go for a long time. There they are. Beautiful beans, look at that. Those will be good this winter. I've already canned, I think I've got 51 quarts down there. This will be 7 more, 58, and I've got a lot more to go. So I'll have several years worth of beans stocked up just this year season. Just gonna see if we'd be lucky enough to hear one of the lids pop down. One's already popped. That one's sealed right there. This one in front looks like it's about ready to seal. By the looks of the lid. Man, it's hot though. Look at that, it's still boiling inside the jar. Come on, seal. There was one. You hear that pop? I think it was one back there. Yep, it was that one in the very back. This one. Now that one's sealed. So that's 3 out of 7 that's sealed. The others are sealed. They just, as they cool, that's what causes the lid to go down. And after they completely cool down, I'll come back with a little Sharpie pen and put the date right across through here. The year, just the year. Hope you enjoyed it.